this video. Today, this review will focus on why exactly the Hunger Games book is a submissive work of literature that manages to subvert expectations despite the flaws that are present throughout the work. So, without further ado, let the Hunger Games begin and may the odds be in your favor. To understand why exactly the Hunger Games is a submissive work of art, one must first understand the context of the book. So where exactly does this book take place in? The book takes place in Panem. It is ruled by a government that is corrupt, called the Capital. The government of which forces children from the ages of 12 to 18 to fight, of which a total of 24 tributes from 12 districts have to fight. The last one standing wins. Our protagonist, Katniss Everdeen, is poor and belongs to District 12. However, a conflict arises once her sister, Primrose, is chosen randomly to be in the games. As a desperate measure, she volunteers in order to save her sister and has to fight against 23 other tributes, one of which is from her own district. Odds are against her, as wealthier districts 1, 2, and 4 are stronger and bigger than her. There are a lot of main characters in the Hunger Games. However, two in particular stand out. The first one being Peeta Mellark, the baker's son from District 12. He is also randomly chosen to be in the Hunger Games and is foreshadowed to be in love with Katniss. The second one being Haymitch Abernathy, one of two winners of the Hunger Games from District 12. He is a drunkard in the space and time that the book is set, and he is tasked to share advice with both Katniss and Peeta. These characters have common relationship. The author of the book, Suzanne Collins, creates character depth as the story progresses. Speaking of which, one of the best parts of this book is the character depth. The layers that are embedded into every character demonstrates the dedication of Suzanne Collins to their book. The audience can personally relate to the age of the tributes, as the target audience is young adults, and they are in the same demographic. They can also be sympathetic to the distaste of the corruption that is present in Katniss's character. Katniss's character is also empathetic, as her beginnings are humble, as she is from the poorest district, and later in the book, Katniss and Peeta develop the relationship they established earlier. Haymitch also has his own character depth, as he is quite arrogant, and therefore calls Katniss names such as Sweetheart. Needless to say, both Peeta and Katniss have to deal with him, as well as the fact they'd be fighting 22 other tributes. My favorite character, in my opinion, is Haymitch, as he is arrogant at first, but then becomes really wise and is a mentor to both Katniss and Peeta. Now, to understand why exactly the Hunger Games is a submissive work of art and literature, now the book itself is a very common genre, action-adventure, although this genre has been done to death nowadays, and even back in the book's launch in 2008. So, what is about this book that makes it a submissive masterpiece? Aside from the beautifully crafted characters, this book manages to have an exceptional plot. The build-up to the games is one of the highlights of this book. The fact that Katniss volunteered is a compelling storyteller. The Capital's mightiness is also reflected as a result. The description of Katniss's feelings toward the Capital makes for empathetic character development. The connection between characters is widely developed throughout the book. What is there to say? I mean, the games themselves last very long, spanning over 5 chapters in length. All the positives aside, the Hunger Games manages to present some flaws. Some chapters, such as 4 and 5, that are long and drawn out in order to present the Capital's might, and as a result were victim to a slightly subpar in comparison to the other chapters. Nevertheless, I will make this chapter shorter and focus them more on the strengths such as character, relationship, and build up to conflict. However, these pros highly outweigh the cons. The book is a submissive masterpiece due to the games themselves lasting the longest and characters that were taking them, so the con makes sense. In later chapters, the genre really starts to define itself, as the highlights of this chapter are action-packed and long-lasting on the reader, so it leaves a massive impact reader-wise. Personally, I would recommend this book as it plays a very important role in the submissive storytelling of its genre. The character relationships add to this as well, as they can connect the reader to the story. People that like something different to traditional methods of story, such as novels of other genres and their slower plays, should definitely read this book, as it offers a whole new different perspective in the novel style of literature. Accordingly, I present a score for this masterpiece, a 4.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching, and remember to hit that like button and subscribe.